Daniel editions. Baal and the Dragon. And sovereign Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his reign. And Daniel spoke with the sovereign, and was esteemed above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol, called Baal, and every day there was spent upon it 12 large measures of fine flour, and 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine. And the sovereign revered it, and went daily to worship it. But Daniel worshipped his own Elohim. And the sovereign said to him, Why do you not worship Baal? Who answered and said, Because I do not worship idols made with hands, but the living Elohim, who has created the heaven and the earth, and reigns over all flesh. Then the sovereign said to him, Do you not think that Baal is a living mighty one? Do you not see how much he eats and drinks every day? Then Daniel smiled and said, O sovereign, do not be deceived, for this is but clay within and bronze without, and never ate or drank any. So the sovereign was wroth, and called for his priests, and said to them, If you do not tell me who this is that devours these expenses, you shall die. But if you shall prove that Baal devours them, then Daniel shall die, for he has spoken blasphemy against Baal. And Daniel said to the sovereign, Let it be according to your word. Now there were 70 priests of Baal, beside their wives and children. And the sovereign went with Daniel into the temple of Baal. So the priests of Baal said, We shall go out, but you, O sovereign, place the meat and prepare the wine, and shut the door firmly and seal it with your own signet. And tomorrow, when you come in, if you do not find that all has been eaten up, we shall suffer death, or else Daniel, who speaks falsely against us. But they gave little regard, for under the table they had made a secret entrance, by which they entered in continually, and ate these. So when they had gone out, the sovereign placed food before Baal. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and they scattered them throughout the whole temple in the presence of the sovereign alone. Then they went out and shut the door and sealed it with the sovereign's signet, and so departed. Now in the night the priests came with their wives and children, as was their habit, and ate and drank all. And it came to be in the morning the sovereign arose, and Daniel with him. And the sovereign said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, Yes, O sovereign, they are whole. And as soon as he had opened the door, the sovereign looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, You are great, O Baal, and in you is no deceit at all. Then Daniel laughed and hailed the sovereign that he should not go in, and said, See now the pavement, and note well whose footsteps are there. And the sovereign said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And then the sovereign was wroth, and took the priests with their wives and children, who showed him the secret doors, where they came in and ate that which was on the table. Therefore the sovereign slew them, and gave Baal over to Daniel's authority, who destroyed it and its temple. And in that same place there was a great dragon, which those of Babylon worshipped. And the sovereign said to Daniel, Shall you also say that this is of bronze? See, he lives, he eats and drinks. You cannot say he is no living mighty one. Therefore worship him. Then Daniel said to the sovereign, I worship Yahuwah, my Elohim, for he is the living Elohim. But allow me, O sovereign, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. And the sovereign said, I shall allow you. Then Daniel took pitch and fat and hair, and boiled them together, and made lumps from it. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst open. And Daniel said, See, these are the mighty ones you worship. When those of Babylon heard this, they were greatly enraged, and conspired against the sovereign, saying, The sovereign has become a Yahudi, and he has destroyed Baal. He has slain the dragon, and put the priests to death. So they came to the sovereign and said, Give us Daniel, or else we shall destroy you and your house. Now when the sovereign saw that they pressed him greatly, being compelled, he handed Daniel over to them, who threw him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days. And in the den there were 7 lions, and every day they had given them 2 carcasses of 2 sheep, which then were not given to them, with the intent that they would devour Daniel. Now there was among the Yahudim a prophet called Habakkuk, who had made stew, and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going to the field to take it to the reapers. But the messengers of Yahuwah said to Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that you have into Babylon, to Daniel, who is in the lion's den. But Habakkuk said, Master, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. Then the messengers of Yahuwah took him by the head, and carried him by the hair of his head, and through the power of his ruah, placed him in Babylon over the den. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the meal which Elohim has sent you. And Daniel said, You have remembered me, O Elohim, neither have you forsaken those who seek you and love you. So Daniel arose and ate, and the messenger of Yahuwah immediately placed Habakkuk in his own place again. On the 7th day, the sovereign went to mourn for Daniel, but when he came to the den, he looked in, and see, Daniel was sitting. Then the sovereign cried out with a loud voice, saying, Great is Yahuwah, Elohim of Daniel, and there is none other beside him. And he pulled him out, and threw those who were the cause of his destruction into the den, and they were devoured in a moment before his face.